that multiple to that single perspective. From your space of observation. Every now and then, what you looking at,
Kanye flights.
appear to be backwards. Can't shake from the west, going to the east. Falling on the surface, still be going in the deep. On the low end, I'm a creep where the trees growing different. The fruit up on the branches, got the leaves growing with it. I got needs, hoes and bitches. Don't care about you a-hoes, never on no shaky grounds. Fish the air is on my tables, and they got y'all really lost in all the Aristotle fables. Making straight up allegories off the periodic table. You are lost and can't be found, just like where is Waldo Kango. Open up the book of life, and you'll hear you took a flight to another spectrum. Your past could have been better if you knew a couple lessons. Went through the fucking stress, and I remember at the age of 6, the sun rays was lit. Had my spirit somewhere taking trips. Now my brain had flipped to a whole nother side of the coin. Man, that man almost died with your boy. They really got us following the east. But every time we see the light is on, directions and a path like the sleep. You take a second look, the light is on. But everything you see is all you need. Then you start to think that might be God. That Uriel shiner is deep. Don't let nobody tell you flight is wrong. And it's on, and it's on. We so beyond, so beyond. And it's on, and it's on. We so beyond. Last night, yeah, don't forget the F and S for flights. Drifting off to a wonderland in the afterlife. I got so much food for thought, let's go grab a bite. You always thought you were seeing planets, but they satellites. And that ain't nothing but some NASA lights. They stick together like some magnetites. The universe is not a respecter of a person, it's a team that have the rights to do whatever that they need to do. When you hungry, know what feeding you. Life's like an animal inside a Pokemon, and you niggas Pikachu. Hands up on your eyes like peekaboo. Look up in the sky, you see I flew. When you on the block, you should never stop when nigga hot, you better keep it cool, letting it play out the way it's supposed to be. You shouldn't be nowhere else in the world but close to me. Baby, you know I gotta wear feathers just listening to what you got to say. We could have been something in the past, but the way I'm thinking not today. Now I
for the donation.
that was something that don't even corroborate. Full of hard knocks, graduate on honor roll. I don't wanna nominate. I got A's, B's, and C's, D for this and D, either energy, F, give me feel for the flight. Masculine as individuality, the feminine is bringing deal by the night. All day, girl, we go in cycles like you got periods. To take ears to see, eyes to hear. So what you say, I ain't hearing it. The path we walking cause, and they got us following the east. But every time we see the light is off.
Thanks so much for the donation.
And a path like the sleep. You take a second look, the light is on. But everything you see is all you need. Then you start to think that might be God. That Uriel shiner is deep. Don't let nobody tell you flight is wrong. And it's on, and it's on. We so beyond, so beyond. And it's on, and it's on. We so beyond.
Oh, it's like a frequency vibrating. That's the real guitar string theory, not Makamaneka Chamaka. Whatever, the Japanese Japan Handman Part 2. The one Jet Li, Jackie Chan Part 4. You know what I'm saying? That we ain't talk about that string organs and stuff. We talk about the before we made strings and guitars, dirty desperado energy. It sounds like something in water. The frequency vibrate, condense in the water. You know what I'm saying? I said everything is frequency waves. Even before we even made any metal, guitar, wooden plate to be on it, to make the sigil, we was doing this in the spirit world. So your spirit was moving that way and just made some organ and object in the external world that can mimic it. But the spirit always doing it first. Spirit always do stuff first. The spirit always do stuff first. You gotta understand that, smack monkey. Then you'll be able to get in the vibe. You'll get unstiff. Whether you're a beta male, fake man, or extreme masculine feminist or not, you'll be able to get loose. You'll be able to like listen to Will Smith song, get jiggy with it, and like respect it. Get jiggy with it. Get jiggy with it. Say you'll get loose. You won't be a party pooper. You'll loosen up at the family reunion. You know what I'm saying? You get good feelings and good spirituality. You know what I'm saying? Real manifestations after that. Not the negative ones and more people at your job to got same situations that your flunked out self just complained to with your family members and stuff. That's just more manifestation of flunkness. You know, you get a good spirit around somebody else in good spirits, good spaces. You could put your spirit in that space and be like, I'm in the spirit, aka I'm in that space. You could like copy and mimic those chakra systems, specifically, preferably the Uriel one. No, I'm saying, take pieces of those back to your space. Boom! You got all kind of magic powers and tricks and stuff like that, and manifest. Oh, I'm saying, good nature, magic tricks in your mind. Good God lies, consonant dissonance, not the devil ones. Not the devil one. Not the devil one. Real stuff. So you get the synchronicities in the world of stuff. Then now you know how to make. Now you know why we call it organs, because we talking about music. And your organ is actually a music, guitar band with your spine and your organs, your tree and your branches and your fruit. You know what I'm saying? Your tree, your body, your spine, and the branches, the things that branched out, and then you got the fruit, the organs that hang off of it. And like a spirit, you always be playing stuff with it and trying to mix it around. Real shit. Real guitar band heroes in the world. Real shit. Thank you so much for the donation. Be the all. Appreciate that for the bottom. Real stuff. You said moon in the 4th house. Oh yeah, if you mean transiting or your moon in general, I got a moon in the 4th house too. My moon and Pluto in the 4th house. So even if it's not transit, if it's a transit, you mean though, you forced to react and respond to emotions, feelings, and stuff like that, dealing with home, domestic issues, privacy, or even things that deal with home and family, or emotional security and stuff like that, or even structuring a business out of 4th house type stuff, like what you already into in real estate. And so just to have your mind on it and probably pay attention to more of the negative that might not even be negative. So make sure you don't dive too far into that. You might try to find something might not be right. That might be like a blessing in disguise, or gifting through the curse, or a diamond in the dirt, that if you don't have the let down energy to it, and you have the let me check this out and experience it, and let me go through this energy, you might have your mind open enough to have another ability to add on what you're already doing, and that ability you get ready to add probably $1 million, probably way more land and property and more interviews, all kind of stuff. All kind of stuff. It's all about what we put our spiritual space in. You know what I'm saying? Thank you so much for the donation, Julia's Pain. Julia's Seizure. You said, what's up, Dolo? Can you give me an example, mechanism, how to interpret? You got to use mechanism for that. But you said transit, planet. I don't even know what you're talking about at this point. Hold on, what? You said, Dolo, can you give example, mechanism on how to interpret transit, planet, aspect? You're getting too lost in the sauce. Take it one at a time. You know what I'm saying? A transit is just the alignments in the sky. And aspects in your natal chart is your own personal alignments. That's the mechanism right there. So when I say in the sky right now, we got what? Mercury in Scorpio, sextile in Venus and Virgo. Yeah, that's as above. You know what I'm saying? That's the as above circumstance when we start to talk about the transits. Now, your own natal alignment, that's if you got Mercury squaring or opposing or sextile in your Venus or something like that, or another alignment. Boom, that'll be the mechanism how you see it, your as below version, your Holy Bible version. You know what I'm saying? Yo wanting to be a demon, have your own world, have your space, when you want your own personal alignments and your own awareness. You want your first house to be what your first house be, and 7th house and other. You know what I'm saying? It's all of us falling in demonic worlds, but that's the mechanism. The description that flunked out humanity created to describe how we fail. You know what I'm saying? It might got different words to it: math, astrology, science. I'm saying DNA, spectrum, NASA, a whole bunch of stuff. Just replace it with how we fail. That's it. You can just replace all that with how we fail. And you got it. You made it simple for your mind. Now you can start thinking different thoughts God wants you to look at those type of things that make more sense without lost witchcraft, buttercream, Masonic starting points and stuff like that. So this is real leather. So you can't just be moving around. This move you. You know what I'm saying? You can't move the way you want to move. It move you when you got real tough leather. You know what I'm saying? The real leather. I don't have no fake. You know what I'm saying? Because the people probably might thought like, oh, the hat, y'all don't see no Marvel on the back of the hat. Marvel don't always do that. You know what I'm saying? But it's always going to be on the tag. Yeah, that's when you know it's real. When it's on the tag. If Marvel ain't on the tag, it ain't real. It's somebody at the Japanese store. You know what I'm saying? It'd be like somebody at the Japanese store. That when you know it ain't necessarily real. You can't go to the costume store and get what I get. You gotta get yours professionally made. How the movie actors and actresses got theirs made? So it gotta be the real material, the real leather, the real correlations, the portions, proportions. Not something that'll rip after you wear it 1 or 2 times because it's like a Halloween costume. Saying this ain't technically a costume. This is like a fashion sense. You know what I'm saying? Only hood person that can pull something off like that. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't even a costume. It's like the real thing. So it's like, what's that? So you can do, you know what I'm saying? The first person brought that in the world. Can't nobody take. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna change. I'm transmuting all the Masonic government, Marvel comic, Jewish mentality, the DC land. I'm changing all that. I'm saying real stuff. So y'all need to join the mission. Business, entertainment, education, religion, and politics. Attack! Attack! I'm saying we all got our own superpower, our own way to do it. Uriel, I don't count. My superpower so big, I could do all 5 of them at one. You could pick one or the other, or some of y'all might be good at 2 or 3 of them. Attack! You know that don't take waiting around for nobody. That goes attacking. We'll meet up anywhere in the esoteric world in the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension where that mission is needed. If God so be it. So. Other than that, you ain't on no smack monkey mission if you don't think that's the mission. Spirituality is getting your individuality together and attacking a mission because you're trying to change something that's been blocking you from your gifts and talents to be much more easier to do. You know what I'm saying? Once you start see the Olympics that the shadows try to have you jump through for you to have to do something with little to no effort, and they trying to make you do all these extra efforts, here's where you're getting breadcrumb. Here's where you're getting put into the Olympics and stuff like that. And then you see other people make it look like it's comfortable. You don't want to do everything they did, nor do you know everything they did to get to that position. Just so it become conniving. And that's where dog eat dog world came from, that energy. People trying to find lazy ways to do something in a world that the shadows created anyway, that we ain't even got to do it like that. You know what I'm saying? So people are always trying to find an easy way to do something hard. So this is why it seems like people of their own kind turn on their own people faster. That's why. You know what I'm saying? Because one person got it hard first, and then everybody else like, oh, here's an easy way I can do it and take it from them. You know what I'm saying? And the whole goddamn program itself was made by the shadows. And until we understand that and learn how to participate with making templates, making programs, that's when we real men and women. Other than that, y'all are specific men and women. That characters that got constructed by Jews and Masons. So it's all types of dumb men and women on Earth. And not even really planning out those right. Y'all just be male and females. You know what I'm saying? Striving to be sun and moon cycles that they made characters out of and called man and woman from their discipline and moral constructed the circumcision systems. Real stuff. So, pardon me. But yeah, y'all ain't got to leave a donation just for me to answer a question. Y'all can leave some, throw some zodiac alignments at me and stuff like that and be like, because I've been getting a lot of emails too. That's the reason why I did this. I just been busy with a lot of mid and high profile people, but I am going back to regular readings, so I'm in the middle of doing that too. So for just regular people for reasonable prices and stuff like that, I'm putting that back online too, just in a few days, as soon as I get all my catching up and stuff like that with the little high profile and the mid profile and stuff like that. So this is just like something free anyway, where just like regular people, you don't even have to leave a donation. You can ask like a regular question, like, sun and moon alignment or Venus and Mars alignment or something like that. Or your sun being in a certain house, or however the case may be. Or the alignments, like Homeboy said, the natal alignments, um, you know what I'm saying, or what certain planets may mean, and certain alignments may mean specifically. I like to break things down to make them simple and stuff like that. So the trine, I just like to say that's a gift. So anytime y'all hear another astrologer break down what a trine is, it's just basically breaking down someone's gifts. A sextile, this is basically breaking down somebody's opportunity, whether they're taking it, whether it's negative or positive. A square, frustration, negative or positive. A opposition, something that oppose you, negative or positive. You know what I'm saying? In conjunction, misunderstanding, negative or positive. So the whole big paragraph don't have to be broken down unless it's specified or specific towards a person. And then we'll break down your specific in conjunction. Then that's when we'll be able to break, well, me, being the wise astrologer, be able to break down if it's a negative square or not. It might not always be negative. It might not always be positive. Sometimes it may be mundane. So the places of these things is what matters the most. It ain't necessarily the alignment itself. It's what two planets are aligning. What two energies is aligning. And that's gonna modify it to let you know what kind of nature it has. So you might be listening to regular stuff and be like, oh, I got this square. And that don't necessarily mean it play out negatively for you in your life. And if you keep thinking about that and paying attention to others, you're going to have a certain filter system where you're trying to look for certain things. And you may be trying to look for certain actors, actresses who got squares, or people in your life who got squares. And instead of looking at their positive energies that they may be more in the percentage level in, you may be trying to look for the negative to like suit your bias at the moment, aka just trying to learn. So you might not be seeing it as a bias that's hurtful, but you're like, oh, I'm trying to see why I might be negative, looking at other people in my life and in the world that got squares and their negative traits. Might be looking at someone who might be way more positive on a percentage scale. In your mind, you only seeing it negative because of the filter system you in. And therefore, just by your mind being in that state, that fart, cloud, gas, and liquid accumulate as an actual event in your 1, 2, and 3rd dimension to probably prove you right that you think in your mind were really in all actuality and existence. You manifested that situation. You manifested an event of spirits on the same time as you to manifest a person, place, or thing and an event to prove you that you flunked out, and you're gonna blame it on that square, and you're gonna be like, damn, I am right, this is the reason I'm flunked out. Well, really, ultimately, you just manifested that. You could have made that square in totality, even if it was negative in reality, work positively for you and created a positive outcome. But just based upon the mind state that you inside of, because you picked it up as a spirit being in that space, then for the most part, boom, now that's the type of situations you start to accumulate. So you got to be aware of that too. Like it's a trick. It's a consonant dissonance trick. That so you can psych the universe up. You just got to know everything is in reverse. Everything is backwards. The moment you get trapped in your first body, everything is backwards. Because your first body is like technically your first mirror, your first reflection. But it's like you're inside of it. So when you get outside of it, unconsciousness, inside of it, subconsciousness, because that's what that is. And then when it condenses and become a form, consciousness. You know what I'm saying? So for the most part, it's like you're looking at yourselves, and at the same time, you not being that, you're seeing it from an outside lens. So it's like this how you always see your mind, and everything is like simultaneous in that place. So for the most part, seeing yourself could just be an image of a landmass, but you don't understand, which Archangel Uriel here now to make things simple to you, that's you producing no organ. So you're producing a mind state, and when it condenses, it become a fleshly fluid. And this is how we're creating our reality, our individual and our collective reality together. You know what I'm saying? Because we're always expressing our simultaneous individuality. So that lets you know our spirit ain't none of these things we're using, but these things we're using is a creation of what we created as a spirit to express our individuality through. So you know it's teamwork makes the dream work, because we're all making similar things and we're all aware of things in a similar way. But we're doing it in our own individual way. That's unique and one of a kind. So that's how you have enough comprehension with wisdom to utilize intellect against intellect and be able to have an intellectual way of explaining that simultaneous energy in a way that we can point to it in a 1, 2, and 3rd dimension down here to make it make sense on a small percentage scale. because it's so small percentage and so vague and so polarized and playing out through so many different mechanisms and characters and patterns. You may not know how to piece out that whole character that I just pieced out for you to be like, oh, is that okay? You see what I'm saying? That's what angels here to do. That's the angel superpower. But we all got superpowers. And I'm here to show y'all superpower. Spirits have the power to create light, imagery, vision, mentality, character. Use your power wisely. You know what I'm saying? A mind is a terrible thing to waste. You're not wasting your spirit. Your spirit is the observer experiencing you wasting something and having to go get something else. So sometimes you have to go into another space, another spirit, to get a different view, to develop a different mind, a spaceship that can travel much faster than that other one that kept you stuck in that one complacent space. You know what I'm saying? They only have those type of observations to develop awarenesses that wasn't going nowhere. That ultimately is what I'm calling a spaceship, your mind, the thing you inside of. And then you create many attributes to it, many wills, many characters. You know what I'm saying? Like they're calling the characters in the Trinity and stuff like that. So that's just like your many demiurges, many minds, many chakras, right? So that's your spaceship, your observation, your solar system, the system for your soul to fly in. So that's a system, your mind. And it's the system for your soul, for your individual space to be inside of, to direct that. So you're supposed to be controlling your mind. You're supposed to be the one that make up your mind, create your mind. You had a direction and path for your mind. When you have other people doing that, you don't know why you say that, because they got y'all living backwards. They got y'all thinking you are the mind. So the mind creates the external world. You know what I'm saying? It's the eternal spirit, internal, the mind, and then that externalizes itself when it condenses. The external, the body. So when they got y'all living in reverse, they got y'all needing the mind particles, the physical body, to suit the mind, because they're intertwined, in order for you to have spiritual peace. Your piece of observation, your piece of space. You're not all space, so you're not all God. This what I mean when I be saying y'all ain't God. This stuff y'all be talking about why y'all God. Y'all got that from Masons, because y'all give y'all mind too much juice. When I say that's your superpower, that don't mean call it God now, because you got the ability to think and feel. Y'all ain't got the juice like that. I don't know what be jumping in y'all spirits, and God don't know either. What y'all don't understand is the words is created by the vibration. So once you lost into a spell, and then you live backwards, you create a vibration after you done got witchcraft by the spell. Someone else gave you the word, and you start thinking what you think it means for yourself is already backwards. And that you already in somebody else's spaceship, esoteric GPS system, public transportation, and it takes you into the opposite direction. So the city you at in Babylon, and the lights you looking at, the information, it got nothing to do with God. So just your first train of thought and your intent premise sometimes won't even allow you to be the type of person to have the right comprehension to even have the right idea about something. Sometimes what you think you got the right idea about is under somebody's pyramid scheme. And when we get into general consensus and stuff like that, that's like 97% of the world. And that's me giving grace, trying to deal with my ego. Yeah, I really ain't seen no spirit in no human body down here that really was like. The ones I did see, they didn't quite know they was there. They was there on accident, and I made a lot of them kill themselves. A lot of them is the names we call today, Masons and Jesuits and Jews. I don't go for no weak spirits. I only go for strong spirits. Spirits I know that don't know no better. I don't even care if they hate me and actually got weaponry and they actually can physically harm me. My mind is the strongest weapon. They'll be able to tear it down, and I'll be able to get them grace. I'm God's children. I ain't never supposed to get lost in goddamn humanic scandals or humanic, what y'all call these things y'all get into in y'all mind, and y'all play these characters out. What y'all call these things? Not scandals. Human affairs. It's like a human affair. So it ain't what we do, is how we do it. It might look like I'm participating, but I'm not. So even when I'm in, you could witness me in the middle of an event that looked like a human affair. I don't have the same results and outcomes there because I'm not even interacting in that human affair as the human affairs supposed to be interacted with. I don't even understand it because I be so deep where I understand where it manifests from. So I've been so far out of that for eons, I forgot how to get in it to actually play out in it like a fool. Even when I'm in it so deep, I don't think what I'm doing is foolish. Like, it's like deep for me. Like, we ain't allowed to forget. Angels ain't even allowed to forget on no level. You know what I'm saying? Or that's like punishment. You know what I'm saying? Because we, like, once we start acting like we want to be just like everybody else, and while we can't get no grace, we get even more punishment. We get even more separation. And what we're trying not to do no more, we end up digging a deeper hole. Like that's what we still trying to do, like be like God or something like that. That's what we not trying to do. When an angel not trying to be like God, it look like we trying to be like God. That's what makes us damaged. And I could get into them type of details, but it's like y'all humans wouldn't even understand that anyway. So let's get back into Q&A. I'm saying real stuff. Somebody said there's no link. No, I'm not adding people to talk to them physically. This is a Q&A. You can ask in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Because this leaves things free for people. You know, a lot of people don't even like to show their face, and they wish was doing this more often like I used to, because they could be anonymous and still ask a question that they wanted to be asked. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to feel like, you know what I'm saying? Because I know I got a strong spirit. Sometimes I could be in a certain space, depending on what space of spirit in. They might get intimidated and think I might cuss them out or something like that, or call them retarded. And I ain't not, the reasons I call people retarded and stuff like that don't got nothing to do with human affairs. That's another thing y'all got to understand too. I give grace to humans that's coming in genuine. So if you come in genuine, no matter how retarded you is, I ain't calling you retarded. I know we're in disingenuous energy. I know how to spot forms before they're the full chakra to even become an organ to be expressed through body language or throat chakra. I see those things first. So before nothing gets past me. So it'll be things that an average human would see and they think I went too far attacking it. And trust me, it might, depending on how far you is in your life and how much you got to deal with dislikes and likes, you might go through events. It might take you about 40 years or 50 years of your life, or you'll be an old person, to go through certain experiences to realize and comprehend the common sense of what I did, and why it made the most sense in the world. And you're going to start comparing and contrasting it to all the situations you could have done better if you would have added that characteristic. For an example, let's say you from the suburbs or something like that, right? But you get ready to join mother and father business. Auntie, drunk auntie, but she hide it because she got a good job, so she run the whole family business. So whatever the case may be. So you got something that's on your lap other than you having to work for it, right? There may be certain charities or certain employees and stuff once you start to become adult that you think is good based upon what you pull from the Bible or the case may be as moral systems, that you think if you display any other nature, it's negative because you never seen or went through enough experiences yet to know that sometimes you have to nip things in the butt, that it can lead 3 to 6 weeks or months later, you being in a compromising position of being taken advantage of, or your kindness being taken for weakness. And that boundary you could have prevented 6 to 3 weeks before or months before could have saved you a whole lot of things as issues, and you would have been respected more, and you would have developed, add more artillery to your moral system, and God would have showed you you ain't wrong, and God would have showed you whatever you was thinking was right or wrong, life ain't got nothing to do with that, and you actually more on a percentage scale of what would appear to be right when you do things like that. See what I'm saying? It's, you got to let God work through you in other ways that you don't understand. Is let the universe go through you and stuff. And then sometimes it takes certain people, once they held themselves back and block their vulnerability with false egos, or think they're too good for things, or they're sheltered. So, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it takes these people 40, 50 years throughout their life, or 60 years throughout their life, to go through a lot of experiences to realize, to go back to be like, oh yeah, I was naive and gullible when I, at those times I thought I was doing Jesus work, or I thought I was having some God complex, or I thought my morality was going to be right and things was going to manifest in my life if I do these traits. And then you're going to be comparing and contrasting like, oh, these is the reasons why I wasn't shit my whole life, and I'm on this deathbed right now. You see what I'm saying? So you got, life is serious. Take life serious. You got to dislike. Pay attention to that and go into the detail. You got to like. Pay attention to this. Go into the detail. And don't just get lost in Galileo. Always wrap that into people. It's beyond that. So before you even get filtered through people and actual desires that the shadow government already capitalized off of, like your favorite box of cereal and oatmeal, look at the trait that's causing as a stimuli to make you react or respond a certain way. It goes beyond a person, place, or thing. It takes you in the spiritual world. Then when you jump back into the world, now you're not of the world, you're in the world, but not of it. When you jump back in it, your mind, and all of us, teamwork makes the dream work, the mind as a collection, and see the shadow government, now you're able to even deal with your physical likes, like a person, place, or thing, a lot better, and your dislikes a lot better. Now you're on that spiritual transition now. So whatever circumstance you're in, you know what to change. And now you could go for a greater mission. Change to something God wants you to change. Something that you've been complaining about that, reprobate's been having control over, because the universe is not a respecter of one person. It's only a respecter of a team. So you're not expressing no new thing to get together a team to go against the universe, helping out these individuals doing things that's against your nature for you to get breadcrumbed all the time from the Wonder Bread loaf and Swable. So that's when God, once you fight your own internal demons and stuff like that, and get out that victimizing, know that you're fighting your own demons, then God needs you to fight the actual demons, spirits, and actual demonic bodies. Now, how you gonna build your community is teaching someone how you helped yourself. So you're not using a bias, using it for greed and narcissism. You're showing someone the energy you was in at an instant to manifest yourself out of a circumstance. Therefore, a person is not looking at you only for your specific circumstance. They're looking at you for the vibe and the energy coming from nothing, making something. That substance of just a know-how that they could take in their own situation that ain't got nothing to do with your situation. So instead of you saying, I persevere because I knew how to fix a car, so you could only manifest an audience of people who want to fix cars, you gave the essence of something. You gave the energy of accomplishing, and it just so happens you fix cars. So you can attract everybody based upon what they can't see from the spiritual world, and you created something there. And you gave people the energy of, oh, this person give me the inspiration of over accomplishing. So I don't work on cars. I can open accomplish, if you're a female, my beauty salon, or making Barbies, or if you're a man, I can open accomplish that, or my car lot, or my business, or my corporation, because it ain't what we do, is how we do it. And then when you spiritually wise, God give you the words and the expressions on how to make an example out of that, to separate it from the physical world, then compare and contrast it to the physical world as your situation, to be like, and this is what you will go through when you accomplish. So it don't matter what you saying. If your situation is you fix cars, a person to be able to get the message out of the messenger, the car, and you, they'd be like, oh, the whole point is, though, they was in this space to over accomplish for them to be able to fix the car. So the space that they describe, and I need to be in this for me to make my laboratory, or for me to make my beauty salon, or for me, you see what I'm saying? We got to learn how to get there. But when we get truly there, eventually we won't even have to use words no more. That's what I'm trying to take y'all to. Thank you so much for the donation. Frequent Visions. You said, what is the esoteric use and meaning of 8-point star? So the 8-pointed star would be like a basically looking at the allegory when we're trying to make alignments or grimoires or stuff like that, from the as above alignments and as below the horizon alignments. So for the most part, an 8-pointed star would be like just a transit with 8 different planets. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that'd be from the sun all the way going down to Uranus or Neptune. Uranus and things of that nature. That'd be like that kind of alignment in the sky. And then when we bring that down as above, so below, now the Jewish Masonics, they got their concept of it. Sometimes they'll make an angel that's holding something. So an angel that's holding something, that'd be a 5-point star, head, arm, leg, 7-point star, 2 wings, 8-point star. If it got a flaming sword like me, or if it's like Michael with a book or something like that, or if it's Gabrielle with a scroll or something, even though that's all copying Uriel though. You know what I'm saying? That'd be an 8-pointed star. So that'd be the speculative Jewish allegory of the trigonometry, mathematics. Then in astronomy, mathematically, they'd just be talking about it in calculus or something like that, like a 8 point something that has 8 points in weight, or something that has 8 points, and a half of 2 is square, and things of that nature, squaring off something. So that'd be 2 square off of something. So that'd be like 2/8. You know what I'm saying? And things of that nature. So that's how you know how to break down 16. But if you're breaking down something, or you're dealing with, let me not get too far into these things. But I start thinking about, you know what I'm saying, 16 with the baggie. I'm saying, so, or 15 with the baggie, or whatever like that, the case may be, when you put it on the scale. See, when you from an area and certain, like, astrology become easy. Math, you ain't got to go to school for math. I'm real good at math and calculus and stuff like that. I ain't really have to go to, I'm saying, real stuff. Everybody need to learn about math. You get real good with money. You get real good with moral systems. You know how to deal with low-hanging fruit, people, desires and stuff like that, and reprobate world rules. So, like, math is like something the spirit already know. It ain't even something like somebody had to even create. It's like something we already do. Like, so when you get in real with God and spiritual world, you automatically know math. Like, you automatically know how to cut stuff, and, you know what I'm saying, piece here. You know what I'm saying? You already know what any PhD person talking about. You already know. You know what I'm saying? Real, gotta go to school for that. You be wanting a school named after you or something like that. Thank you so much for the day, said David Chatty. I appreciate that, for the bottom of heart ballers in the soul group. Real stuff. You said, dog, can you break down quick third house and the fourth? We break it down. I ain't gotta be quick. This is what I made the live stream for. You said third house, Lord, in the fourth house. Now, you gotta be careful of thieves. When it comes to ideas, when it comes to objects that you own, when it comes to love interests and things of that nature, you can't be so happy-go-lucky and open with your throat chakra all the time when it comes to your third house. Because anytime you got a third house Lord, and let me see what planet that is. Oh, you ain't tell me what planet it is. But anytime you got it, well, depending on the planet, that's the characteristics. So if it's the sun, it'll be the actions you see. The moon, reactions, which you're manifesting, or other people's reactions and the mood that they in. Mercury, the way they think. Venus, what you love, appreciate, and value, and what may lead you into overindulging and not doing things in moderation. Mars, passions, desires, something that can lead you into anger or aggression if they're not met at a timely fashion, as far as your motivations and your passions. Saturn, how you see reality or gain structure in your life, or things that feel like it's restriction. Jupiter, how you learn, experience, create events, negative or positive, but it expands your mind to know what to do and not to do next time. You know what I'm saying? Uranus, your uniqueness or challenges. Neptune, your dreams or delusions. And Pluto, your transformatives or power and control issues. Now, having the fourth house, you said the third house Lord in the fourth house. So a lot of times you have to be careful. You got to learn how to develop more privacy and stuff like that when it comes to opening up your throat chakra within your environment, especially when it comes to friend circles or people that you're familiar with, even if they're just associates, but like you're familiar with them. So you're cool enough with them to every now and then let them know what you got going on privately, at home, or your emotions and something like that. These things are the first things that's being used against you when it comes to the negative situations in your life that make you feel like you made a mistake. So a lot of times you got to be aware, and don't be letting everybody in and out of your house, because you manifest or attract these too. You might but on a positive end, you place yourself into a lot of situations by default subconsciously that you attract a lot of things or manifest material that other people can't get as fast as you. But on the flip side, you also attract the opposite. People who don't have these things may talk real good, and sometimes you go broke in your wallet, or sometimes you have a friend that might steal you. You might have had a lot of those experiences young with your video games and stuff like that. A friend has to borrow something and act like they lost it or something like that. They be playing real good video games at the crib and stuff, or your video game that they told you they lost or something like that, and they stole your video game and stuff like that. But see, they did that because they thought you wouldn't be so mad, because you probably was in a situation where your parents probably could have got you another one and theirs couldn't. You know what I'm saying? It's like that. And even if you wasn't in that type of situation, take it that in all kind of scenarios, you got something, even to an emotional state, that you don't need to be opening your throat chakra giving to other people all the time, because it could be used against you. So like I said, emotion states also, not always physical. It ain't always got to be that situation. You probably have friends and things of that nature where you just told this person that you liked this girl, and all of a sudden they wrote a letter to her. They weren't even thinking about her and stuff like that until you were talking about, man, yeah, I think I like her in seventh period and stuff like that, in junior high and stuff. And then you go homeboy and stuff like that, writing a letter, oh, I like her too. And like showing off in front of her, trying to embarrass you. You get that a lot. Yeah, don't be telling everybody stuff. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. with that third house lord in the fourth house. Keep certain things in your environment, third house, private. You know what I'm saying? Close to your heart, fourth house, and you'll be good to go. Real stuff. You know what I'm saying? You make people, sometimes you'll make a family member or a friend think you're too gullible, but make you feel like you ain't gullible. And that's their way of rocking you to sleep, getting something out of you that they won't, or making you do something that they need you to do for them. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. You got to watch that third house lord in the fourth house. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the Gemini house. You know, so anybody, even if y'all don't, you know what I'm saying, have Gemini there, you get real like Gemini-y with whatever element you got there. Even if you have the opposite sign there, Sagittarius. You know what I'm saying? The way you think about spirituality, the way you do that with your friends and your environment, you all over the place. You know what I'm saying? You're jack of all trades, master of none. Sit your butt down and focus on something one at a time, and stop getting lost in friends that's not good for you and stuff like that don't match that, especially when it comes to the opposite energy, Sagittarius. But it go for anything. You got Virgo here, you know what I'm saying? You got Leo here and stuff like that. You get La La Land. You know what I'm saying, and stuff. You might get all over the place when it comes to trying to get attention. So you open up your throat chakra all day trying to get attention if you got Leo in the third house. And then you get your pride hurt. And your pride is always hurt. Now you want to move. You want to always go over your relative house on some other block or side of town. Or grow up and now you got dreams of moving because people wasn't appreciating you when you open up your throat chakra too much. That just looked like you was trying to get attention all the time. You know what I'm saying? Virgo in the third house. You two goddamn, don't nobody like how you be friends. Your way of being friends is always pointing out something wrong with something. You know what I'm saying? Goddamn, I know I got a hole in the wall in one of the rooms in my house. Goddamn it, I don't need you pointing it out every time you come to the crib. You know what I'm saying? In your mind, you really think you being a friend or something like that. No, you ain't. Say you just some smack monkey Gemini ascendant that can't keep their throat chakra closed, and then you got the nerve to have goddamn Virgo in the damn third house. So with Virgo being in a damn third house, you in your environment, I'm your friend, so I'm your environment, and now you at my house, and goddamn, here go the details of that throat chakra. I don't need to be reminded of the hole in my wall every time. I can't wait. Can I come over your house now? Probably can't even come over your house. You ain't never there. You always over some other friend house opening your throat chakra again. Telling everybody I got a hole in my wall. Because I know you doing that because every time you're at my crib, you remind me of my hole. And you remind me of all of our other friends who got a hole in their wall somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So that's all you about. You ain't about nothing. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. Smack monkey Gemini ascendants. Real stuff. I think it's about for the donation K2 different. I appreciate that from my heart. Now you said moon 29 degrees Leo. Ooh, I feel that. Seventh house with Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Virgo stellium. Hold on. Oh, hold on. What you saying? Like, I don't know which one you won't answer. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to the stellium one. So for the most part, well, hold on. Moon 29 degrees in Leo, seventh house. So yeah, you like to get attention, and you like youthful or people who don't be so deep with their feelings and stuff like that. Or sometimes you can be a narcissistic, or you attract a lot of narcissists when it comes to your relationships. And with the moon there, you feel comfortable when someone can praise you, or, you know what I'm saying, accept your bullshit in some type of way. So try not to have so much trauma energy, because everybody can't be Mustafa and Simba and his girlfriend off Lion King and stuff like that. Somebody got to play the role of the happy hyenas. Somebody got to play the role of Scar and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Some people got to play Rakifi and stuff, and Timon and Pumbaa. I said some people. So, you know what I'm saying? Everybody got to play their role sometimes, especially Leo. It's the Leo 7th house. Aquarius ascendants. But yeah, like I said, too, it'll be the devil's advocate all the time. But then you got the Mercury, Venus, Sun, Mercury, and Venus, Virgo stellium. So a lot of times you just sometimes worry too much about love, your character, other people's actions. So you love throwing in 2 cents, sometimes more on yourself. And Venus, you worry and stress too much about love life and how love's supposed to be and stuff. So sometimes you could talk yourself right out of a good situation, or worry yourself out of one. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want no extreme beta male energies I don't know if you're a male or female, but yeah, I don't. You don't want no extreme. It could be a male or female, y'all. But everybody can express better male. All of these are just different sizes of stars, and your atmospheres are stars. Your mentality, spirits eat stars. So if you got a big character, big expression, a giant, that's an alpha. You could be a male or female playing out that characteristic. All of these things are just experiences, and we got other men trying to control all kind of intellectual properties in the world that God told you could make one in existence. You ain't got to get lost in other people's characteristics of existence. Terms like universe and multiverse and Walt Disney and Mickey Mouse and Captain America. You can transmute their stuff and make people think about you. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. And come and go get a team. And y'all are the superheroes now. Real stuff. Who had another point? What was my point? I had a point. I had a cold point. I ain't letting that one go. Oh yeah, so when you think about it, this the Greeks version of doing something that you ain't even got to call it that name. But Uriel just took you to the space to know where spirit's at to see it for themselves without all the biases. So now you know how to not argue for or against something. For an example, you might be through the rose-colored glasses filter and bias of Pan-Africanism. So soon as you hear me say alpha beta, oh, that ain't got nothing to do with Egypt. They copy it. They plagiarize Egypt or something like that, and it don't mean these things. It don't matter what's the name, the history, or following the money. Follow the practice. And what's being practiced is you will know that it's beyond the name. So even if I was to argue with you how a Greek person may plagiarize alpha, that ain't my concept of breaking it down, and I don't even have to use alpha. I can use whatever name you using and clear out the bias that they using, whether they was using it because they was a fool or they're trying to learn something or they're using it to rock people to sleep. None of that matters to me when I'm with God, because I make the template, I make the psychology. I'm the man God put down here. So that's how we all supposed to think anyway. Like everybody just be retarded. I'm saying? Now, since we in Western Hemisphere, we can use some Greek terms because we lost in Latin and English. It's their stuff. So we can explain things and transmute their stuff and get to the root of the conversation faster without all these dumbass biases we into that block us from coming together. With the physical forms that we supposed to do as spirits already come back together. Now, look, check this out. Like a little big old Lego goddamn Tetris puzzle piece. You see what I'm saying? So when you look at it in Greek terms, alpha would just be a big character that males and females could play if you act out that character. If you act out that character right now as a practice without the bias to it, it won't have no blemishes. You'll be acting out that energy and purity. The character, when that fart cloud, gas, and liquid as a character that you're harnessing on as a spirit, when it bend down as a blood cell in your organs and your actions, and when you start to express yourself through your throat chakra, I don't care if you're a male or a female. The characteristics you're going to be displaying is what anyone online or encyclopedia or Google going to describe as what it means to be alpha. So if you're a female, you can put that to the test right now. And this how Uriel be like, yep, Uriel, right again. Just like how Uriel try make the Bible more clear so stupid men don't use it. And every time I'm trying to preach, just because I'm a female, they say I can't preach. Where Uriel said the woman and female names in the Bible mean emotions. So when this man is trying to preach out of his emotions, and I'm more logical at the moment, God really telling me he can learn from me at this moment. And he gonna have to act better amongst his friends and stuff and come out a better temperament the way he's acting. Because God gave me the word to actually preach, because I'm acting out the real men energy that all males and females got access to. Divine masculine, divine feminine. These are characteristics. It ain't got nothing to do with y'all getting lost in y'all organs and using these things for monetization and sexual weapons to make other people feel bad so they better get right and do what you want them to do. Oh, that's narcissism. Y'all better start working for God. Real stuff. I don't know what be wrong with y'all spirits, but y'all look at everything backwards because it ain't y'all fault. It's the starting point of the shadows. And Masonic the Hedgehog and Shadow Man. And Tails with the dragon eating it because Eggman hatch on Aries. Like, I don't be having no time to be arguing with no religious theologian because you went to apologetic school for 60 years and you old. And since I'm smoking, this is the reason why you don't want to understand that I stand corrected and you'll get debunked. You know what I'm saying? Because you the one who prayed for Passover. You don't know why it's the Passover. So if I tell you that Jesus is Jesus, aka hey, eastern consonants to the western consonants. So it's specific sun transits from Pisces 4 a.m. to 6 a.m., Taurus 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., and then Libra fall Adam 6 p.m. or fall time, right? So that'd be the morning star, bright star, falling star. Then for the most part, you never gonna know why you practice the Passover. You ain't gonna never know why you practice it at a specific geomancy, gematria, and goddamn it, numerology date, calendar date when the sun is transitioning from Pisces to Aries. You gonna say, oh no, I'm pseudo Mason's copying something and God brought this on earth. No, the starting point is men making language. That's why you go to school and learn the alphabet from other men and women. So you have to know what they're pointing to even understand what the word that they're saying. You know what I'm saying? So, duh. So if they're saying the Passover is from winter to spring, so when you hear, so you get out your bias because you don't like words like astrology and you don't like words like Pisces going into Aries. So you already want to get in, oh, zeitgeist. It ain't just that a third. You just in a bias energy. You don't know how to understand what space a person in to even come to conclusions without a bias because the bias is helping you with a insecurity, a mental illness. Anytime a spirit need an external physical representation, that's a mental illness. Religion is the highest mental illness down here. You have no form of reality of knowing how to make up your own mind. Your way of thinking you making up your own mind is indoctrination. You're still using someone else's mind to make up your own. You know what I'm saying? Thank you so much for the donation. Star, upside down star, inverted star. There's an esoteric meaning to that. You know, the star represents the body, right? So what makes the body? The mind, right? So when you invert the star, if your spirit created the form that's supposed to be up, right, then you're supposed to look below your lower natures that made the things that you're supposed to use as tools, like a bitch. So look at the left arm and leg as air, earth, right? Logic, and look at the right leg and arm as the yin and yang on that side, fire and water. And as a spirit, you're supposed to look down on these things and control these things, right? So as a spirit, you control your mind that made your body. But when you play out energies, because you might lost in witchcraft like Aleister Crowley, right? The shadow government got y'all doing things y'all don't know y'all doing against y'all. So you start opening yourself to all kind of spirits. So when you invert it, this means you worship water, fire, and air and earth. As a spirit, you're below it, looking up at fire, water, air, and earth. So you look up to your mind control you as a spirit then. So fire, water, air, and earth condense as reality, right? So you only in life getting controlled by reality in the external world, and you get controlled by your mind. So that's what you're going to manifest. Even if you spiritually don't think that's what's happening, these are the events that you're going to control in your life, create. So you got to be careful of that too. But you say Uranus sextile Pluto. Also, what are the traits of Antares rising? So the traits of Antares in general is just about understanding concepts of falling or understanding the blend. If you want to make it simple, blend in Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius together as one thing, and then that makes the energy of Antares. So that'd be trying to create balance, fairness, or relate or communicate in a cardinal way, Libra, about some deep, dark transitioning things, death, fall, and you know what I'm saying, and transition of power and control, and 8th house Scorpio, that you could be enlightened about with wisdom and spirituality and develop a religion or concept of ascendant and things of that nature, Sagittarius. And then for the most part, that'd be the concept of Antares. So when you have that in your ascendant, sometimes you feel like you're personally detached, you feel like you're personally fallen, or sometimes you feel like you have to personally need a meaning and reasoning before participating or encapsulating yourself into something. So you always feel like you're always in an ending process or have to let go something or something, like always having to see something from the outside in when it comes to your personal space or who you share your personal energy with. Now, for the most part, you say you got Uranus sextile Pluto. That's just your whole age group. Everybody your age got Uranus sextile Pluto. So all y'all going through whatever the shadow government creating to indoctrinate y'all brain. So all y'all create opportunities of trying to be unique when it comes to creating changes or power and control or transformation and stuff. So your generation and how your specific way how you play it out is going to be where your house is at. But for the what house they in. But the energy that you specifically plan out is taking opportunities to look like a crash dummy. So crashing out in some way and bringing something new, unique here, and some attribute when it comes to some dreams and imaginations. But yeah, Antares is just anti-Mars. So it's like Mars on a higher level too. You fighting Mars with you fighting going through war with yourself instead of things in the world. Then once you go to war with yourself, you could go to war with things in the world. So you anti-Mars, you anti-war. So you know how to fight fire with fire and things of that nature. So you got a high moral system. You just have to make sure your personal moral systems ain't too high that can't nobody meet around you. You'll be let down in your personal life and like try to figure out that it ain't really no one to share your personal space with because it's your ascendant. So it's how you personally come across. It's going to get filtered through your sun and your moon. So however your sun and your moon is, that's going to be your actions and your reactions, how your personal space get expressed or your personality. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. Thank you so much for the donation, Antoine Jackson. You said 8th house Lord and 8th house and Sun and Venus and Taurus. So with the 8th house Lord being in the 8th house, you got power and control over your secret energy or your deep desires, passions, and motivations. So the only way you're going to go through the same situations other people go through is when it's time to be power and controlling, but you too passive. And then when it be times you're supposed to be passive, you be too power and controlling. So you have to learn how to compare and contrast what people, scenarios, and events that you're supposed to be power controlling and you're supposed to be passive in. And therefore, you won't meet the same outcome as a person who might make this mistake unknowingly because they got a different alignment. So anytime you got a house lord in the house that is in, that it rules, you have power control over that house. So there's no one to blame in that house. So by you got the 8th house lord being in the 8th house, any insecurities, power and control issues, things you couldn't demand or take power and control over is only your fault. You can't blame no one else. And the more you blame others, you meet more of you dig yourself a deeper hole. And more things and obstacles you got to transform that may make it look like it's impossible, but you got to do it because you're accumulating it. Then you got the Sun, Venus, and Taurus. So with your actions and your love and things, Venus is ruled Taurus. So a lot of times you could get taken advantage of over the people, places, and things that you love. So sometimes you may do things non in moderation. When it comes to objects that you use, pleasures that you have, people that's love interest or you respect too much or some way, shape, or form, or it could be situations where you get your kindness taken for weakness, or you compromise too much. It'd be certain areas in your life where you may not have to you're supposed to stop compromising because it's leading you into negative scenarios, but you're developing mentalities to make yourself think that you're supposed to compromise because the situation will run through smoothly. Well, ultimately behind closed doors you might be getting rocked to sleep or taken advantage of. So you might go through a lot of those situations too, with the Sun and Venus being in Taurus. So make sure that you ain't allowing your way to stabilize yourself be utilized by others and stuff, especially when it comes to your emotional place. But yeah, even when it comes to 8th house Lord in the 8th house, you got to learn how to gain comfortability with having to go for your passions alone and can't wait around for others. And that's how you manifest support. For an example, you might be doing something but not get support. So you might think what you're doing is extremely negative. But if you actually go through with it, that's how you actually get the support. Going through the transformation and having people see you go through it from a distance. And that's when you would get the support, not you waiting around for the support and then thinking that since you ain't got the support, you're doing something wrong. And then that's you catering to an energy of that you made up that ain't even how it really is amongst other people's eyes and how it is in reality. So you'll just be digging yourself a hole thinking you're climbing yourself a ladder. You know what I'm saying? And you're not. But really climbing yourself a ladder is actually jumping into a hole. So everything is in reverse. When you just jump and go for it in the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension, you actually climbing a ladder in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension. When you think you're climbing a ladder in the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension, you're actually digging yourself a hole in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension when it comes to the gas and liquid. So if you know the mechanism, you know the gas and liquid is first because the spirit create the mind, the gas and liquid. So if you understand the mechanism, you'll know how to not do things backwards. So even when in the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension, when you think you're climbing a ladder and it don't appear because you might be unwise and low vibrational in the reality in the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension, the ladder that you think you climbing might look like a monetary gain. So you're unaware of the outcome of things, of how that thing got accumulated in the first place. So you're unaware of the outcome of it. So you're unaware of the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension of it. You're unaware of the hole you're jumping in. So you think you climbed the ladder. So the higher you jumped in the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension, the harder you're going to fall in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension, because you actually jumped into a hole of an abyss of some weak-ass intellect knowledge you thought you had. That it was just a no ledge. You was just falling in some bullshit. Falling in love for that, goddammit, for the love of money. I gotta make that money, man. Money, man. It's still the same. Now, take that out the hook. You know what I'm saying? We gotta make the money first. We ain't gotta steal. We ain't got to steal to say nice for your drug habit. Flaunt Pisces. Shout out to Wishing Bo. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know what I'm saying? But everything is in reverse. Once you get spiritual, you'll be able to look at the best instances of it. Like how I'm breaking down right now. It get foggy and cloudy and judgments get real weird, looking at the different patterns and getting confused with the characters, other patterns, when you're not on that journey, but you still dealing with what I'm talking about, just on a smaller percentage scale. So I was able to break it down for you to still able to see it in your life. You see what I'm saying? So even the little stuff that was bypassing you able to see, damn, I was doing that in reverse. Damn, I'm backwards. Damn, let me invert this back. Because it'd be the most subtle stuff. Once you got a template now, though, and you understand the mechanism, you're like, okay, let me get myself straight. Now you're really able to see if once upon a time you was lost in the low vibrational world, so you thought you was climbing a ladder, and you ain't know you was digging yourself a hole in the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension. Now you know. So you'll be looking at that false ladder and being like, okay, all ladders ain't good ladders. All energy ain't good energy. All money ain't good money. All people ain't good people. You know what I'm saying? All charities ain't good charities. You see what I'm saying? And therefore, you'll save yourself the issue. So knowing the outcome. And then you'll be able to see other people who climbed that ladder and see them from a distance like, I ain't got nothing to be mad about. I ain't got nothing to be intimidated about. Because I know in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension, how God see it is an ugly character. They actually digging themselves a hole that they just jumped into. So it takes a while for the mental world to manifest into the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension to actually play out in reverse. And when it play out in reverse, you see a person fall all over the place, crashing and shit like that. When they thought they was getting in while the getting was good, you see them, it ain't that good no more. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you don't know what I'm saying and you think I'm talking about pseudo, man, get online. Go on YouTube. Type in one of these celebrities' names. Type in anybody. Do you need any examples? Let's not get into the zodiac sign and Geminis. Type in Kodak Black. Type in Kanye West. Live examples right there. What I'm talking about. Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. Whitney Houston. Now I'm just using y'all as examples. Shout y'all out. But you know what I'm saying? And this is what I don't want to hear either. You know what I'm saying? Because Ray J still look young, agile and stuff like that too. And Ray J a gangster. Once you 18, you grown. And Kodak Black in his 20s. I don't like what I be seeing in the comments and stuff like that. A 50-year-old man want to catch the fade or something like that. Man, once you grown and you can run your mouth. Once you grown, you can run your mouth, you can fight. Everybody equal. Once you over 18, you don't grow no more. You don't grow no more. So if you too old and you unagile, that's your fault and bad health and you wasn't eating right and you wasn't exercising. And if you young, a dope and double cup and you look like you just got out of jail 60 years later and you somebody's Uncle Jew bug, that's your fault. But everybody on equal playing grounds once you 18 and you got an Adam's apple and you got a nuts. So if you ain't dropping them, you can't blame God. You can't blame the universe. And I refuse any other reprobate to be speaking that retarded stuff in somebody's comment. Thank you so much for the cash app, Antoine. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for the donation, more kill. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes when you a little young, but you an adult, you got to get smacked down a couple times so you didn't even know anything. You got to go to jail a few times so you didn't know anything. So last time I checked, God said, shit, hey, once you grown and you got an Adam's apple, hey, life start teaching you. I'm saying. All right, let's just 6 degrees. Yeah, so yeah, you gotta catch that fade. You know what I'm saying? Anybody talk about catching fades and stuff? Ray J and Kodak, like, catching Capricorn, Gemini fade. But 6 degree, and at this case, it shouldn't be that conversation. Kodak should be able to wear him out. So if Kodak can't wear out Ray J, that's the failure of the young man's mind and what he did with his time. And if Ray J feel like he too old and not agile and he can't win, that's the failure of the human's mind and failure of him exercise. But once you grow, we all on even playing fields. Oh, I'm saying I'm gonna keep that 100. I'm gonna keep that 100 right there. You know what I'm saying? Police don't be caring about giving nobody juvenile life and giving somebody adult time and putting the police don't be caring nothing about that. I'm saying real stuff. And then when you went in and robbed somebody's house or killed somebody or made somebody's grandma mad or took some rapper's chain off their neck or something like that, you wasn't thinking about your age. You was going around telling every female you was talking to, hey, age ain't but nothing but nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't never made that as an excuse when I was with me. I was at all right, you said 6 degrees Sagittarius, and in the 6th house could jump 5 degrees. I don't know why y'all throwing y'all degrees at me. Like I'm about to get into y'all fixed stars and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But you said Sagittarius moon could jump your Pluto and your sun. So your Sag, you having a sun and moon in Sagittarius, you need a meaning and reason before you act or react on anything. So sometimes you go over frustrate yourself when it comes to feelings and needing a morality behind something and stuff. And sometimes you go over and exaggerate of what's actually going on based upon observing other people's character, because it's mutable fire. Trying to be mutable and adapt to your own and other people's ways of seeing and feeling. Fire, seeing and feeling. So for a lot of times you like to prejudge or you like to be smart or like to have the most wise actions or reactions. And sometimes that block you from even having the most experiences you need to have sometimes. So you can play out extreme restrictive energies too. But when you have this conjunct in Pluto, these are things that you're probably seeing in your life that you need to transform and take more power and control over. So try not to be so much in a space where you feel like you need to control other people's actions or how they see something all the time. Or if a person doing something wise or not or something. Sometimes you be trying to take control over other people around you and might lead into giving them the wrong advice that don't work. So you got to be careful of that too. Or you may attract people that try to take power and control over your spirituality. You may have grew up and made that that you might have developed that as a characteristic of yours unknowingly based upon being raised by parents or people around you that was like stronghold on trying to control the environment and everybody that they are raising or something like that, trying to control their religious aspects or their spirituality or how they see something or how they supposed to express themselves. And in their mind, they gave you the pattern of thinking that, oh, this, if I do this, this is the right way, the wise way of doing it. Because kids only know how to observe pattern and character, not the actual words and what the parent is pointing to itself. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's important, even if you is like say you're a single mother, it's important for you to have some men in y'all life, because y'all be trying to act like y'all strong and stuff like that with because and using you being a single mother as your voice of being strong, but it becomes narcissistic if you don't understand the child is looking at your characters and your patterns, and you just got a bunch of women patterns and stuff like that. Like the child see you get on your period, the child see you how you interact with people and stuff like that. So it don't care. The child ain't really necessarily involved into the actual scandal, the actual meanings or reasons as to why you doing things. The child is observing pattern and character. Know what I'm saying? So eventually, just how you get dressed, just how you express yourself and stuff like that, the kid mimic that. So it'll be kids running around that's men that ain't men. They just better males. So their debates end up being or looking like the end of dice games. And that's why everybody be in jail or doing something where they don't know how to take care of their kids. And they still go to jail or hell. Thank you so much for the donation, David Chatty. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. You said, yo, Dolo, just one additional question. Can you break down my Mercury being on the cusp of my 10th, 11th house? So you witnessed the negative traits side and the positive traits inside of Mercury when it comes to your 10th and your 11th house. So sometimes you make extreme mistakes when it comes to sharing ideas or communicating or knowing who to communicate with when it comes into your associations, and sometimes you extreme or to be associated with, and sometimes you make extreme mistakes when it comes to what you're communicating or how you communicate your status and what you're known for and how you're seen. And sometimes it add blemishes on your status. And on positive ends, you experience extreme positive energy sometimes, where your communication and your throat chakra put you in successful business matters and stuff like that when it comes to your status, what you're known for, what could become your career. And sometimes it puts you in extreme positive areas when the 10th house is playing out negative. It'll play out extreme positive areas in your 11th house, where you're opening up your throat chakra, allow you to be associated with something else. So whatever fell in your 10th house as far as your status or your business, you was able to witness a positive area to be associated with something that spring thing could go on again. Where when something destroyed in your communication style, Mercury, with your 11th house, when you have to dissociate and ghost, it might be something that's going positive with your career again, your status, what you're known for, how you're seen. You see what I'm saying? It'll play out like that limbo system sometimes, or that jump rope. And then you say you got to, on the cusp, Gemini and Cancer, do it have two house lords? No, it ain't got two house lords though, because Mercury, that's not even a house lord itself. It's the I mean, you could break it down like that if you're trying to say whatever house that Mercury is in. So Gemini and Cancer is this wherever Gemini is Mercury. The planet is what makes the house lord, not the houses. So since it's Mercury, it'll be Gemini. I'm saying Gemini, it'll be that house lord, the Gemini house lord. So it'll be the house lord ruling the house lord, and then the house lord on the cusp of the next house, and things of that nature. So you'll look at it like that. So let me finish this mixtape. So that was about about an hour and stuff like that. I don't get too dizzy. I know when I talk, I don't breathe a lot and stuff like that. Stuff I start getting headache. I go until I roll this up. While I still got energy. You know, so as soon as I cut off the live stream, I go stretch out on the floor real quick. And then once I can do that, I might not even be able to even roll another one for probably like an hour or two. So I gotta make sure I at least get it right. And then I might be able to be right in that next 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Behind the scenes flights. You know what I'm saying? The behind the scenes flight show. You know what I'm saying? That people don't know what goes on behind the scenes. Director cut. You know what I'm saying? Everything. Esoteric flight pilot comics. But yeah, we supposed to create that energy in the esoteric world and create our own television screens to transmute their piping system, their electronic plug-in, and we get all the energy. So we got all the Pope houses in the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension. And when we get all the Pope houses in the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension, man, that's gonna be good gold and silver checkerboard floors. You know what I'm saying? Thank you so much for the donation, Robbie J. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. You said advice on North Node conjunct Vesta. In the 12th house in Leo. So Vesta is how you organize in your life. So you organize by attention and stuff like that. That's how you get things organized. So a lot of times you don't even think things is worth putting things together if it's not getting that attention or that appreciation or that value in some way, shape, or form to feed your pride. But when you have the North Node there, that's supposed to be your spiritual path to learn how to get comfortable with that uncomfortability and things of that nature, and know that you don't necessarily need that energy all the time to organize yourself or to be constructed. You know what I'm saying? Because this might even played out early in your life. You might have had a love interest or a friend or something like that, or people you wanted to be friends with, and you ain't get the attention. So you felt like it didn't matter for you to dress a certain way or look a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Or be into being colorful and youthful and stuff. So you built up a more like depression, lower octave vibe. Not negative, how I'm saying lower octave, but just the concept of how these energies can play out based upon their placement and the way that they're in the energies and stuff. And then you got the sun, 12th house lord in the 9th house. So for the most part, you take your dreams, imaginations, and your fantasies and stuff like that, and you're here to learn about these things. Learn what's a delusion. Learn how to experience. Travel for these things, internally and externally. Try to add more meaning and reason into these things when it comes to your faith and belief in your imagination, so you can see what you're capable of and incapable of that. And it's the sun, so start to act like that. Act more expressive. Act more open-minded. Internal travel, or open to doing things in an actual world. You know what I'm saying? Physically traveling when it comes to going for your dreams, imaginations, and things dealing with the 12th house. Thank you so much for the donation. Star, you said appreciate the teaching me about the pentagram. I'm gonna change and take that off. Scorpio moon conjunct Venus. So a lot of times you might have a weird and that's what's up. Not to say, I mean, you could transmute the energy and have your own way of looking at it, just as long as you know the original space of how it's created in the first place. Now you can make your own character out of it. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to the inverted pentagram. But there's reasons to have it if you're practicing certain rituals and spells too. Like, because they could be binding spells, or, you know what I'm saying, or spells when you need to get rid of spirits and stuff like that. Casting away spells. You know what I'm saying? Because when you give the green light, that'll be the upright pinnacle. When you're practicing witchcraft, when you're giving something the red light and you need something to stop, that'll be the inverting anything, whether it's to cross the pinnacle or whatever you're directing the energy towards, based on if that necessary tool is needed for that witchcraft at the moment. But yeah, Scorpio moon conjunct Venus. So a lot of times you might manipulate your way into love, or not express what you truly love, and keep things behind closed doors in secret when it comes to the things that you might not do in moderation, and go too far with compromising with because it pleasures you or something like that. So you sometimes you might develop a lot of situations where you can get yourself exposed too. So you got to be careful of that energy, that you don't develop no aura. Because anytime we got a lot of pent up energies that haven't got no release to it, it play out as an aura. So everybody pilot senses start to tingle. So they may not know what's going on, but you got an aura around you, where so a spirit only gonna know how to decipher it based upon the experiences that they went through. And if they low hanging fruit, they may prejudge whatever they think about you based on your vibe, your aura, something negative that they only seen in their life, and put you in a situation where interacting with that spirit and a collection of other spirits enough may manifest an event that you actually got to express where you truly stand at as a spirit, and what form is that actually is that's around you as an aura. And when those other spirits bring that out of you, force that out of you through your organs, external organs and throat chakra, then things could be clear. And sometimes the way spirits do that, and they don't know they're doing that, it may manifest a negative scenario where they gave you a bunch of negative fart clouds and reactions and responses and weird vibes towards you. But it's just always spirits trying to discover what another spirit is hiding, even when the spirit don't know they hiding it, because it's what I'm talking about. It's an aura you developed, pent up energy that ain't had no release system, because you ain't got no creative gifts or talents to filter it through. So it remains a vulnerability, not something you can show, and that vulnerability can become an ego, and that becomes a phoenix. It's a vulnerability that false egos have to be around, so that never gets exposed. And you feel naked, because spiritually, that first premise of light of vulnerability mimics nothing light. Mimics the nothing. And your nothing is when you being naked. So it's truly who you are. So the first premise is the first reflection of truly who you are. It's the term we call vulnerability, but it's the first lightest forms of the something that's closest to mimicking the nothing. So it's your first shield, your first cloth, your first mucus, your first mind that you don't want nobody to see, because it's mimicking your space. And without that, you don't want that, because it's like you don't know how to make that be like an ego. So you're like, oh, there's someone seeing my true face. Then you say you got Pluto in the first house. You go through a lot of transformations and power and control issues when it comes to the people you share your personal space with, or your personal issues, personal affairs, or insecurities. And Lilith, sometimes you feel embarrassed in that area too. You feel embarrassed when it comes to allowing people in your personal space, even with things that other people who probably got a similar situation to you wouldn't even feel embarrassed about. And I love all y'all from the bottom of my heart. Ooh, let me go ahead. Ooh, shoot. Y'all stay spiritually protected in order for that.